What's up, guys? My name is Matt Vassil, for those of you who might not know me. My PDGA number is 112603. Thank you to Kevin McGregor for the shout-out nomination challenge, whatever you want to call it, for the 2020 In the Bag challenge. I've enjoyed watching your alls. Hopefully we get to see more, but the whole pandemic thing goes away quicker than we think. That'd be really cool. But I hope you all staying safe during these weird times, staying quarantined, all that good stuff. Putting in the backyard, that's always good stuff to do. I'll get right into it, starting with the bag itself. This is my AX3 series from Grip. I absolutely love this bag. I got it off some guy in Michigan who was selling it used, kind of gently used, so I got a pretty good price on it. It's really big, holds a ton of discs, ton of side pockets, front pockets, cup holders, back padding. Great bag, would not trade it for the world right now. I like it quite a bit. Before I get to the actual discs themselves, I'll start with the other miscellaneous things I have in there. Let's see. I always, starting after the BDGA Ice Bowl this year, I always bag Band-Aids, gauze, tape. I realize blisters, you might need a couple Band-Aids sometimes. That would be really helpful to have, so I've started bagging some of those. I also always bag a clipboard for scorecards, just makes life easier, rather than having to write on a tree or something. And then a couple pencils, just in case you need a couple more. Never hurts to have a few of those. I also, my tournament minis, I always keep on the side. Yeah, over here. My regular go-to tournament mini is my Purple Panda. I got it at BG-AMs last year, but if I'm not putting well, can't use that one, gotta switch it up, gotta make a change. So I always go for my second Galactic little mini that I got at a random tournament. I like it, it's kind of a good luck charm for me. It's my backup, kind of switches my putting a little bit. And then from Same Wheeling a couple weeks ago, I also got a Mini Buzz and a Mini Nuke. I like them because they look like the actual discs, so I think they're pretty cool. Fun to throw, fun to just kind of toss around if you're bored, and they feel kind of good in the hand, so I like them. Other than that, the only other thing I bag, I think, are towels, which I usually bag like 8 or 9, but they're in the washing machine right now, so here's a couple. And I also bag a little sports sack to keep my hand as dry as I possibly can. My hands sweat a good amount when I play, so I need to keep my hand as dry as I can before I'm about to throw. So before a shot, in between holes, in between throws, I'm always holding this just to make sure I get my hand really dry. Moving on into the actual discs themselves. Last year I putted with the Discmania D-Line P2s, and I like them. They were just a little bit too slick for what I needed. So what you're also going to notice is that I throw a lot of Discraft and a lot of Paul McBeth discs. You may think I'm a Paul McBeth fanboy, and you would be 100% correct, but I can admit it, so I'm kind of okay with it. I like his Lunas quite a bit. They feel really good in the hand. I need a firm putter, and I like these discs quite a bit. Just big fan overall. Shout out to my girlfriend Veronica for getting me these for Christmas. Still putt with them, still like them. Really big fan of them. If I ever need to throw a putter, which I have to say is pretty rare for me, I will go for the Jawbreaker Roach from Discraft. It's pretty similar to the Luna, but it's got a little bit deeper rim, so I like that I can actually put a power grip on it and it's not going to fall out of my hand at all. Little flip up or a turn to a straight to turn, but it's not one of my go-tos right now just because I don't feel super confident with that shot, so I'm trying to work on it, but we'll see. And then if I need to approach, if I'm within 200, 175, I'll break out the Discraft Zone. It is without a doubt my favorite disc in my bag. This is my get out of jail free card if I need it. My go-to approach if I have space is the forehand flex with the zone, because most greens have some kind of treacherous aspect to them, roll away potential, whatever it may be. And this zone, I feel like I can get to land however I need it to. I can have it land on the ante, I can have it flex back and land flat, or I can really have it flex back and land on that hyzer if I need to. So no matter how that green is shaped, I always go for my zone if I had that as an option. Then moving on into my mid-ranges, I only bag 3. I'm not huge on mid-ranges unless I really need them because my zone is usually my go-to for it. But if I need a really straight shot or a turnover, I like my buzz quite a bit because no matter what line you put that buzz on, it's going to hold it almost the entire time. But I know you all know buzzes pretty well. A lot of people throw them. It's a great disc in my opinion. Moving up in stability from there is my Discraft Malta. I love my Malta. However, I think they kind of overstated how stable it is. They listed it as a 5-speed, 4-glide, 1-turn, 3-fade. I don't think it's that stable. It's stable, don't get me wrong, but not that stable. For me, it usually stays perfectly flat with a little bit of fade at the end, which is kind of what I need sometimes. It's not going to turn over on me. So it's a great disc. I love the Malta for that reason, and I think it looks pretty cool too. The disc that has been in my bag for by far the longest is the Discmania MD5. I love this disc because no matter how much power I put on it, it's gonna fade at the very end no matter what, and it very rarely turns for me. Into any kind of headwind, I like my MD5 for that safe fade shot. It's a great disc. Got to shout out to Matt Schindelbauer for telling me about these. I have quite a few of these, but this is the one I typically bag, just I've had it the longest. Moving into my fairway drivers, I bag 5 of them. Starting with my most understable one is my Undertaker. I did not think it was going to be as understable as it actually is, but it really is pretty understable. It flips pretty quickly on me, especially for backhands and forehands. But it goes really far, so I can't complain. It's definitely a crucial shot in my bag. And sometimes if I need a really big hyzer flip up, that Undertaker is really perfect for me because then it holds that flat line for a pretty long time. Then moving up in stability just a little bit is the Discraft Vulture. But if you handed me both of these discs at the same time and told me to guess which one's which, I would have no idea which one's which. They feel really similar in my hand, and I like that quite a bit because they feel similar, but they fly differently. So the Vulture is a little bit straighter shot with a little bit more fade at the end, but not too much. But it really won't turn as much on me. So if I know I need to go straight and I'm worried about the turn, I'll bring out the Vulture instead. But it's still pretty new for me. I've only had it for a couple weeks now, so I'm still really getting used to it, but I like this disc quite a bit. Moving up in stability and speed from there is my Discraft Onyx. This is probably one of my top 3 favorite discs. If I lose this disc, I'll be very upset with myself because I feel like this is my most predictable driver in my bag. With only a 10 speed, you don't have to throw it too hard, but it has a 6 glide and it just goes forever before it starts fading out. I can definitely get a lot of distance out of this one. It's one of my go-tos for that reason. If I go to a new course or a new tournament that I've never played before, this is usually what I break out because I know the disc characteristics really well. I get a good amount of distance, maybe not my most, but good amount of distance with a reliable fade. Moving up in stability from there is my Discraft Predator. This one's really new for me. I've only gotten it a couple weeks ago. I wanted something a little bit different for my backhands, kind of meat hooky shots. It's pretty similar to a Firebird, not as stable in my opinion, but pretty similar. It goes pretty far as well, so I'm liking the Predator. It's deep rimmed, and that's something I really need for my backhand. I love that deep rim feel, so the Predator is a great disc in my bag now as well. And then my last fairway driver is typically a Z-Line Raptor. However, I lost my red Z-Line Raptor in the creek at hole 8 at Vets the other day, so may she rest in peace. I hope someone finds her. If not, I'll just get a new one, no big deal. But the Firebird has kind of taken that place in my bag for now because it's a pretty similar shot. This one definitely has a little bit more fade. It's definitely a little bit more meat hooky, but for now, it does the job that it needs to, so I like it quite a bit. And then lastly are my distance drivers, which I will be the first to admit, I bag way too many of these, but I can admit that, so I'm okay with it. It's a big bag, might as well. I like my Avenger SS. It's my most understable distance driver. It turns really quickly out of my hand. It's been in and out of my bag for a while, but I like it because I need that understability sometimes. It's a great disc. My Thrasher is my go-to disc for a roller if I ever need that as an option, because it has a lot of speed and a good amount of turn and fade, so I can get it to go where I need it to. However, if I throw a roller, that means I'm in jail and I have no other option because I hate throwing rollers. I'm not good at it right now, so it's something I need to work on. But for now, I throw the Thrasher for it. And then moving into my more go-to drivers, my ESP Zeus, or Kong, whatever you want to call it, is definitely my go-to driver right now. I bag 4 of these. I know a lot of people say only to bag 1 of molds, or some people say the opposite. I'm a big proponent on bagging a couple of the same mold, especially for one of your go-tos, because let's say I pull out this Zeus and I want to get a good amount of distance on it and I put too much hyzer or too little hyzer or not enough distance on it. I want to be able to pick up the exact same disc and make that correction automatically. During casual rounds, my goal is to always find something that I'm doing wrong and make an improvement on it. And if I have multiple discs of the same mold, I can make that correction if I need to. However, these fly a little bit different from each other. This one is definitely my most understable one. It flips almost right out of my hand, which is sometimes what you need, but I still get a good amount of distance out of it, so I kind of keep it in the bag, and it looks cool, so I like that too. These two Zeuses fly really similarly to each other. So I like that. That's what I was saying before. I want two discs that fly really similar. That way I can make corrections. It gives a little bit of turn with a lot of fade, and that's kind of what I'm looking for. And then this one is my most overstable version of it. It doesn't really flip too much on me. It's really flat. I don't know if you can see that or not, but it's really, really flat. It feels really good in the hand, and it kind of stays stable almost the entire time. Shout out to Matt Schindler for giving me this one. I appreciate it. And then moving on into my DD3s. I love the Discmania DD3. They feel really good in the hand. Feels very Destroyer-ish. So this is my pink Huck Lab one. It is probably one of my go-to drivers as well. These two Zeus's and then this DD3 are usually what I pull out most of the time. This one I get the most distance out of, but I don't have as much control as my Zeus, so depending on the shot I need, if it's a wide open field, I'm pulling out this bad boy because I don't really care where it lands. I just want it to go really far, and that's why I pull out this one. My other DD3 is a lot newer, but it's actually a lot more understable. It's a lot flippier than this DD3. This one will turn almost automatically right out of my hand, but it does fade back, so I can trust it a little bit, but not as much distance as the pink Huck Lab one, but I like it for now. It's a different kind of shot. And then I also usually bag 2 or 3 forces. Right now I've lost or misplaced, whatever you want to call it, 2 of them, so this is my only one I have left right now. It is the most overstable force I've ever thrown, which is why I like it so much. I got it last year at the Natty's Amateur Auto Wild Championship tournament, whatever, last year. I like the stamp, it's really cool. Love the disc, it feels really good in the hand, deep rims, meat hook and headwinds, really, really big fan. I don't love it as much for forehands. I don't have that power with me right now, but with my backhand, it feels really good out of the hand, so I like it a lot there too. Then the last disc in my bag is something I think is really crucial. If you show up to a brand new course and you're playing a casual round and there's a long shot hole or there's a pond on the left and you're worried about going in the drink, I always want to have a disc that I'm perfectly fine losing, and this Destroyer is that disc for me. I like going for it. I like learning what mistakes I'm making. I like to make that correction. And if I lose a disc that I use in tournaments, I'm going to be pretty mad at myself. But if I lose this one, that's perfectly fine with me. So I always want to have this disc in my bag just in case I have to go for it. But I might lose a disc, and I just want to have it just in case. I think that is everything in my bag. Yeah, it's pretty empty now. So I hope you all like learning different shots that I throw, different discs that I throw. Like I said before, I've enjoyed watching your rolls. I hope to see more in the future. Keeping the movement going, I nominate Jeffrey Chaperon, Matt Schindler, and Dustin Hanna to see what you all are throwing, see any similarities, differences, whatever they may be. Like I said before, I hope you all are staying safe, staying inside. We get through the time together. It'll be cool. We'll disc golf quite a bit later together after all. Cool. Hope you all liked it.